I think everyone else is doing it. I have my own philosophy.
Yeah.
And it's called Stoicism.
Yeah, named after later, I don't think he called it that. I'm not sure. He probably called it Zenoism. They're like, yeah, that sucks. We're going to call it Stoicism after the approach.
Yeah.
But this is, I mean, like, the Stoicism very quickly became one of the big philosophies at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And it rivaled some of the philosophies that it grew out of, like Socratic philosophy and, like you said, Cynicism, the Cynics.
Sure.
Actually, if you look at Stoicism, it's kind of a compromise between Socrates, or Socrates, as Bill and Ted call them, philosophy, which was that to lead a good life, and this was the point of all of the philosophies at this time, during this age of reason, was achieving what was called eudaimonia. And eudaimonia is a life worth living. It's thriving, it's flourishing, it's being happy, like real happiness, right? That was the pursuit of all of these different ideas that were floating around. Socrates had the idea that you achieve that through like 12 cardinal virtues. Some were things you could cultivate yourself, like courage, a sense of justice, that kind of stuff. But then there are other ones too that had something to do with luck, like being good looking was one of them, right?
Yeah.
If you were good looking, if you were ugly, sorry buddy, you could never achieve eudaimonia, right?
Yeah.
On the other end of the spectrum were the Cynics, and the Cynics believed that earthly trappings like wealth and fame and glory, anything like that, was the path to ruin, and that the true path to eudaimonia was living simply and living in poverty. And so Zeno comes along and hears all these, and as he's formulating his own ideas, he's like, Socrates makes some sense over here, so do the Cynics a little bit, but I'm going to put them together. And that's where Stoicism came from. It was a compromise between the two, where you live a life of pursuing eudaimonia through these virtues, 4 virtues. I think there's justice, courage, wisdom, and then temperance, right? So you're practicing those 4 virtues. So that's kind of a nod to Socrates. And you don't have to live in poverty. You can be wealthy, because if Stoicism is anything, it's wealthy people who got into philosophy that weren't quite sure how to feel about being wealthy.
To kind of come to the...
Right. And so what they came up with was, sure, you can be wealthy, and that's okay. You can prefer to be wealthy, but you just can't be attached to it. You can't desire to be wealthy, because you can't control being wealthy. And if you pursue being wealthy, you're pursuing something beyond your control. So if you just happen to be wealthy, that's great. You can be happy with it, but also be prepared to lose it at any given time. And that's a big part of Stoicism.
Yeah, I think it's so funny that I think that like thousands of years ago in ancient Greece, like they spent so much time thinking about living this, all these schools of thought of living this life. So like, putting so much thought into living life to its fullest and all the different ways that they defined it, and eventually, like over the years, like as recently as like the generation of our parents and grandparents in the United States, like the philosophy of life was like, you just go to work hard until you die, and that's the only thing that matters.
Exactly.
Like, so it's garbage.
Yeah, well, I think that's one of the reasons why Stoicism is becoming appealing again, is this idea that work seems to be kind of going through a weird transformation, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like that anymore. Like, that ethic is still around for sure, but, like, how many people do you know work from home? Like, almost entirely.
Well, a lot.
A lot. The work dynamic is leading to this resurgence in Stoicism, that you can find happiness through other stuff.
I mean, part of me thinks this is all like super worthwhile, and part of me thinks it's sort of indulgent. And a bit, like you said, navel-gazy, and like just start practicing good things instead of sitting around thinking about the best way to live life.
Well, we'll talk about criticisms of them later on, but I think you hit a big one though, Chuck, was the idea that it's self-indulgent, because it demands introspection. application almost every moment of every day.
Yeah.
You want to take a break and then get back to it?
Yeah, gotta get my head together. Where's that airplane? Sorry. You know, my friend, I don't shave any longer. I love me some Dollar Shave.
Yeah, it's because Dollar Shave Club is the smarter choice. You get a great shave at a great price. And Chuck, as you know, it's convenient.
That's right, you no longer have to schlep to the store to buy a cheap disposable razor that gives you a cheap shave, or spend a fortune on razors with finicky shaving technique you didn't need to begin with.
Yeah, and now you too can make the smarter choice by joining Dollar Shave Club, friends. For a limited time, new members get their first month of the Executive Razor with a tube of their Dr. Carver shave butter for only $5 with free shipping.
That's right, your first month you're going to get an awesome weighty handle, a full cassette of cartridges, and a tube of their delicious shave butter. Eat it if it's for your face.
Yep, and there are no hidden fees and no commitments. You can cancel anytime you like, but you can only get this offer exclusively at dollarshaveclub.com/stuff. That's dollarshaveclub.com/stuff. Nothing like airplane glue to get your head back on straight.
Just kidding, of course, everyone.
Sure.
We're smart guys, we don't do that kind of thing.
No, it's pretty tough to be smart and huff model airplane glue.
Yeah.
You're pretty much making a choice between that and being smart.
That's what they teach you early on.
Yeah.
Like, you want to go somewhere in life, you want to huff airplane glue.
It's the one thing Nancy Reagan didn't lie about.
All right, so Zeno got things going. Living a life of virtue in accordance with reason and nature. And then other dudes got on boards, and of course, got on board, and they were old dudes back then because everything was from the man's perspective. Just want to point that out.
Yeah, because it's changed so dramatically since then.
But some of the other early Stoicists, Cleanthes, Cato.
Cato the younger or elder? Younger, right?
Cato the Caitlin?
Oh man, I forgot about him.
I'm not sure which Cato.
I think it's the younger. Yeah, we'll find out from two people who emailed me.
Seneca, and then a very important Stoicist, well, I'm going to pronounce it Epictetus?
Epictetus. It sounds like a vaccine shot.
It does. Epictetus.
It's that C going into a T that's getting you.
Yeah.
It's just Epictetus or Epictetus. I think Epictetus is what we should go with.
I want another C in there. I want it to be Epictetus, but it's not.
No, it's not. It's Epictetus.
Alright, so,
Oh, and don't forget Marcus Aurelius, man.
oh, well, sure. I mean, he comes a little bit later. Like, he's the ruler of, infant? Man, what is my problem?
It's okay. Everyone knew what you meant.
He was the philosopher king. And that was when Stoicism was kind of the most popular thing going.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently they moved from Athens to Rome. Which I didn't realize this. I always had the idea that Rome venerated Hellenistic Greece hundreds of years after basically the Greek civilization had just kind of, gone into a bit of a twilight or had gone out of its heyday. No, there was total cross-pollination, including some of these early Stoics who moved from Athens to Rome, and basically with that move transferred the seat of philosophy from Athens to Rome, from Greek to Rome, to Rome, from Greece to Rome. I didn't realize that they were actually like cross-pollinating one another at the time.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I think I recall that from deep in my college memory banks.
Nice.
So Epictetus, man, he had a big role in the Stoic movement. He was a former slave, which kind of makes sense in terms of Stoicism.
he almost single-handedly gives credence to Stoicism, because so many other Stoics were extraordinarily wealthy, powerful men. That it's like, yeah, it's pretty easy for you to go through life saying, it's just take what life gives you. If life is giving you nothing but gold bullion all the time, right? This guy was born a slave, crippled in the knee for life, and became one of the great Stoic thinkers. Just through his life, proved that Stoicism can work.
The handbook at the time was called Epictetus, and he wrote of Epictetus.
Epictetus literally means
so it was a very famous handbook, and he attributed, the first line of it was, some things are in our control and others not.
Right.
And that kind of sums it all up. Like, he could have said the end, but he decided to dive a little deeper.
I agree with you. I think our brain of Stoicism has about similar to ours. Because that right there, that's everything you need to know right there. Is some things you can control, most things you can't control. There you go.
Like, don't get too high, too low,
right?
Don't get too mad about something.
Well, ultimately, I think that's what it boils down to. I don't really find much of a problem when people are overjoyed. I don't think that's an issue. And technically, with Stoicism, that's a problem. You should not become overjoyed. But experiencing joy is fine.
Sure.
But just being like overcome with happiness or joy or grief or whatever it is, you're violating one of those 4 cardinal virtues, temperance, which is just being temperate and even keel. So, but I think if you're saying, don't get upset about something that's out of your control, don't blame others, don't try to control other people, just know that whatever comes, you can handle it. There you go. That's all you need to know from me.
Yeah, how many times have you heard me say it is what it is, which is an annoying thing to hear and say.
But it's pretty stoic.
Well, it is, but it's also, in my case, like, it is what it is until it isn't. It just matters if I'm personally riled up about something,
Yeah, but I think, again, though, if there's probably some people who subscribe to at least modern Stoicism listening to this, and I would guess that they would say that's because Stoicism is basically meant to apply to every day of your life. Like, no Stoics are really expected to become sages in their lifetimes.
Right.
That it's something you just do every single day, trying to not get riled up. But of course, something's going to come along and get you riled up. That's just human nature. Stoicism is trying to put a bridle on that human nature.
Yeah, well, this is insider stuff. I think you and I complement each other because we rarely get worked up about the same thing.
Just voter suppression?
Well, no, it happens here and there, but just in our personal lives and everything to do with work, like, oftentimes I've noticed, like, something that'll rile me up, you're calming me down, and the other way around. And I think that's one reason we've lasted so long. Like, if two people were so similar that they're constantly worked up about the same stuff, no one, you're just going to be working each other up, and no one's going to be there to say, hey man, it is what it is.
Yeah, man. Hey, mellow out. Here's the Bob Marley.
So should we talk a little bit about the areas of study?
Yeah.
All right. Well, there are 3 main ones in Stoicism, and this is all, to deal with introspection, which is kind of like all philosophies. Physics is the first thing, and it's not physics like you think of that you hate studying in high school.
Well, it falls under a larger umbrella term, I guess.
Yeah, we're talking about the natural world, the natural universe, and also what lies beyond it. And when they say the natural world, they're talking about everything. God, the divine, nature, everything that we know, and things that we don't know.
Yeah, everything we would view as science, or like you said, nature. All that stuff, that's physics. And all of it, one of the things the Stoics, I think, if they weren't the first to come up with it, they definitely popularized it, was the idea that all of this was interconnected.
Yeah.
Which is pretty, we take it for granted today, like everybody thinks that everything's interconnected these days, But it's, to be among the first to kind of point that out or suggest that's pretty significant contribution to Western thought.
Yeah, I imagine that was a pretty deep thing when it first started hitting people.
Yeah.
You know?
Can you just see George Carlin being like, oh, I just blew my mind.
Because he was Socrates?
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Wait, no, he wasn't Socrates. He was,
No, he was
the guy, their spirit.
Yeah. What was his name? I need to kill him this.
We'll just edit this part out.
I didn't know I had to brush up on that. No, I did.
I didn't either. I was surprised myself. You should have seen my face.
Yeah, they kept talking about remakes. It's recently, it's a couple years ago, or not remakes, but sequels.
With the originals?
Yeah, like Keanu Reeves is like, man, I love those movies. I'd love to go make another one.
Did you see what is so was Keanu Reeves Bill or Ted? Why are we even doing this to ourselves?
Boy, I want to say he was Ted.
So the guy, the other guy.
Yeah, Alex Winter?
Oh, jeez, Chuck. Wow, nice job. So Alex Winter was in what was the Charles Bronson vehicle, like his most great Death Wish 3. Death Wish 3 was what he was in, which was when Golan Globus got their hands on it and turned it into like a schlock, violent, like almost post-apocalyptic movie.
Yeah.
And he's great in it, but he's also in a documentary on Golan Globus. I can't remember what the name of the documentary is, but it's just about how bad the movies they made, how gleefully these guys made them. But he's interviewed in it. That guy hasn't aged a day.
No.
He looks exactly
Bill.
Okay, so he's Bill.
Yeah.
All right, so
we got that settled.
Physics was done. What's next?
Logic, which they wanted to include social sciences, psychology, sociology, history, which I kind of like. I'm down with that as far as the philosophies go. They wanted to include all of this stuff, but collectively they kind of called this all reason. And it was a very big deal to Stoicism, perhaps the biggest deal.
Right, and they also were engaged in epistemology, which is theories of what knowledge is, how we gain knowledge, what's true, what's belief, what's false, how do we differentiate between these things. And they spent a lot of time investigating this and putting it all under logic, because it was through logic that you could investigate physics, which included investigating God and the nature of the universe and stuff like that. And then through all of that investigation, that introspection, you were ultimately figuring out how to best pursue and best live out the third part, which was the ethics of it.
Yeah, and you mentioned the four great virtues earlier: courage, justice, wisdom, and temperance. And the whole idea here is, it's not like you want to block out the bad and only embrace the good. Like, you want to consider both the good and the bad, but just don't let any of it get in the way of anything that you're trying to pursue in your life. Right.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, and the whole good and bad thing. Where did you find this thing on ethics? Was that
That was the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy from their entry on it.
Yeah,
it was pretty good. The whole thing
it was.
You should have seen how in depth they go though. But I thought this one was a good snippet.
Well, I'm sure. Yeah, they dive pretty deep. But I thought this is a pretty good little summation. They're talking about, like you said, like money isn't just not good or AKA bad. Things like this, indifference, as in INDIFERENTS,
Right.
not indifference. And it's like not good or bad. It could be either one. It's really kind of all about letting something like that.
Right. So, and again, it went back to wealth, right? And this person in the Encyclopedia of Philosophy points out that like money definitely being wealthy usually is helpful or beneficial to the individual.
Sure.
But it can also not be beneficial, whereas a big heroin problem, a Well, the more money you get, the more money you're going to spend on heroin. So in that case, being wealthy is detrimental to you, not beneficial.
Right.
And for something to be a good, it has to be good under all circumstances. And to a Stoic, there's only 4 things that are good under all circumstances, which are those 4 cardinal virtues.
Right.
Everything else, like you said, is an indifferent, and it can either be preferred or dispreferred. Like wealth typically would fall under being a preferred indifferent, whereas, say, disease, having chronic disease, would be a dispreferred, wow, a dispreferred indifferent.
Man, that's tough though.
It is, but the point is whether it's fabulous wealth or diabetes, they should affect you about the same. Or you might want one, you might not want to have one, but if you have either one, you can live with it. And that brings up a huge component of Stoicism that's really been blown up and exploded in the 21st century, which is you should take adversity and turn it into an opportunity for growth. That is a huge aspect of Stoicism that's really being practiced and espoused these days.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Like, I don't think... I like being able to take these philosophies and different religions to form your sort of pathway through life, you know?
Sure.
Like when I hear sometimes, I started to read about Buddhism, and the whole thing with Buddhism of like, every day you start anew, and you have a new chance. Like that really appeals to me too.
Right.
What I don't like is when either religions or philosophies say like, no, like this is the only way, and everything else is BS.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. Not only is it BS, but I'm going to kill you for thinking otherwise.
Yeah.
So Seneca, who was one of the great thinkers of Stoicism, he was an advisor. We'll talk about him as criticism of Stoicism later on. But he had a very famous quote where he says, "You are unfortunate in my judgment. You have never been unfortunate. You have passed through life with no antagonist to face you. No one will know what you are capable of, not even yourself." And that kind of shapes the basis of that idea that no matter what life throws at you, you take it and you say, "I'm going to become a better person from this." Like, oh, this happened. Well, that's great because that means that I can learn to be better at this. So my dog just got hit by a car. I'm going to practice fortitude and make it through this really hard time and become a stronger person on the other side.
Yeah, you may as well have said, comma, trust fund kid, comma.
Sure. Right, exactly. And I mean, that makes people turn that on Seneca, but a lot of modern Stoic thinkers, not like I had a hard life.
Should we take another break? Alright, let's do it. We'll talk about Seneca, Cicero, that's a weird name.
Chuck, did you know that cooking together builds bonds? In fact, research shows that blue apron families cook nearly 3 times more often than non-blue apron families.
Yes, I did know that because we're a Blue Apron family. Blue Apron mission is to make incredible cooking accessible to everyone. They do this by establishing partnerships with over 150 local farms, fisheries, and ranchers across the U.S.
Yeah, and they do it by making it easy. They send you, with each shipment, a bunch of meals that come with step-by-step, easy-to-follow recipe cards and pre-portioned ingredients that can be prepared in about 40 minutes. And Blue Apron's Freshest Guarantee promises that every ingredient in your delivery arrives ready to cook, or they'll make it right. And we're talking some delicious stuff, Chuck, right?
Oh yes, my friend, the other day I made some creamy shrimp rolls with quick pickles and sweet potato wedges.
Yeah, and don't forget about, say, some seared chicken and creamy pasta salad with summer squash and sweet peppers. You're going to be cooking like a mo.
Man, this is delicious and affordable, less than $10 per person per meal, and it gets even better. Right now you can get your first 3 meals for free with free shipping right there to your doorstep by going to blueapron.com/stuff.
You'll love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron, so don't wait. That's blueapron.com/stuff. Blue Apron, a better way to cook. So Chuck, you were talking about religion. Stoicism apparently informed Christianity.
Yeah, in some ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, atheists embrace it.
Yeah. These days. I mean, the early Stoics were definitely believed in a divine intervention. It was kind of the basis of the whole thing that this is God's will, so why try to control it? Who are you to try to control it? Just roll with the punches.
Yeah, that's a big, when I was taking all those philosophy quizzes, they're all a little bit different, but you saw it through a lot of these questions, and the free will one was in every single one of them.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about free will? And they had different ways of asking it, but, you know, that
Free will.
Yeah.
What do you think?
If you want to find out which philosophy that you jive with, you have to answer the free will question. Free will question.
Hey, that's easier to say than disparate, indifferent.
That's right.
So one of the big points, especially today, for practicing Stoicism is looking at adversity as an opportunity for growth.
Right. That's just a good tool.
Another one, Stoicism is like a part of a daily practice, is something called negative visualization.
Yeah, like try and imagine the worst case scenario.
Constantly.
I'm not into that at all.
No, so say you're at like your child's birthday party, and not you specifically, this is you,
Sure.
Just a general person, and you're having just the most intense moment of joy and appreciation for your child. According to Stoics, you should follow that up with a thought about how at your child's next doctor's appointment, your child could be diagnosed with terminal leukemia.
Yeah.
That is what you should be doing basically all the time, negative visualization. And the idea is, it's twofold. One, you're preventing yourself from becoming overjoyed at that moment.
Right.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
And then secondly, you're exploring how you will feel if your kid does get diagnosed with something horrible or something bad happens, and that when it actually happens, you'll say, that's not so bad. I'm already used to it. Or you'll be able to confront it through your imagination and say, this is what I'm afraid of, that's not that bad. But I mean, that's a really extreme, horrific example.
Yeah.
But it is ultimately, it's definitely in step with Stoicism. That you should be visualizing the worst case scenario all the time.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the reasons Stoicism has such a downer reputation, such that Cicero wrote, a Stoic rouse enthusiasm. He is much more likely